Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here, joined by my friend and business partner Sean Casey. We have another WebFire Wednesday webinar for you today. And on this call right here, we'll basically be answering a ton of questions. So we previously, over the last few days or so, sent out an email where we basically asked you to send in some questions. We got a lot of questions back. So several of them were similar to what other people were asking. Some were like very, very long, some short. So what I basically did, I went through all the questions and I kind of summed up essentially all the questions on some slides here. So there's several of you asking like how would I sell this or sell that, when basically the answers would be almost the exact same. So I think I did a pretty good job of summing all those up. And yeah, so we have a bunch of questions right here that we'll go through. We'll show off the actual question and we'll give you our answers. And with that, we can get the show on the road then. But first of all, we'll just go over the quick intro, because I know there's a handful of you that are new here. So once again, welcome to the WebFire Wednesday webinars. And as always, it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is right now. And we'll either do a live training and or a Q&A call, or occasionally we'll have like a special guest. But every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll always have a live call for you. Now, these trainings, again, will either feature myself, Brian Kaz, Sean Casey, both of us at once, or again, occasionally a special featured guest. We'll have one later this month in a little bit too. And so yeah, always lots of good info there. Now, if you're here right now, or you registered for the call, you'll get a reminder each week so you don't forget. But if you can't make one or anything pops up, we'll also always have the recordings in the members area within a day or so of the calls, usually within like half a day. And they'll be under the training tab on the left side navigation bar. So you click on the training tab, and then you'll see a little drop down that will say the Wednesday webinars, and you'll see them all listed out there with their titles and all that good stuff right there. Now, you want to use these calls as an opportunity to ask or to get even more training, ask strategy type questions, get feedback, or make suggestions on what else you'd like to see or be trained on. And as a special note too, there's a lot of prior trainings with a lot of prior info. So make sure to check out prior trainings, because oftentimes we have guys that say, hey, it'd be really great if you could talk on this or talk on that or talk on this. And oftentimes we'll have like an entire call devoted to just that. So make sure to watch those too as well. And they're all sorted by how recent they are, as well as they have their titles, so you can clearly see what's what. We also have a special search tool as well, so you can search and kind of see what's what there as well. And really quick right here, we'll go through the WebFire member rules to success. Number one, follow the steps and the trainings that we have. If you try to sidetrack anything or skip a step or two, we can't guarantee that you'll get the same results or anything like that. Number two, don't give up. This means to seek help when needed, but don't get too dependent. Sometimes I see guys that they try one thing, it does not get them immediate results within minutes, and then they give up and they say, oh man, this sucked. I tried to rank for this word, and a minute later I'm not ranked, so this sucks. Whereas if you try to rank for 5 words and you rank for 3, that's a really big win. So the key is to not give up and follow the steps and the trainings and use the tools and such too. But on that same note, you don't want to get too dependent. So if there's like a term that you don't know or something simple that you're not sure what that means, rather than just immediately run to support or immediately run away, just do a quick search on Google, and 99 out of 100 times you'll find an answer within seconds. So you won't have to be confused or anything like that. Of course, if you're still lost, just ask us and we're happy to help as well. And lastly, no whining or negative attitudes, because that, I think, is the quickest way to fail. is if you're trying to look for something bad, you'll always find something to be down about. And that's true in business as well as in life. So with that aside, we can move on to going through the questions that we received over email and what our answers are. All right. So what I basically did is I have one slide for each of the questions, and again, I believe all the questions that were here, although there's some that I summed up. So like if like 5 guys sent like almost the exact same question, you know, I kind of summed it up into one, or if a guy had like a page-long question, I summed it up into like a line, just to make it easy for everyone else on this call. All right, so first question right here. And I thought this was a good one because this has actually changed over time too, as far as the answer or the best way. So the question is, in regards to SEO, when should I use singular versus plural? And that means like if, let's say, they're trying to rank for, you know, dentist terms in Atlanta, Georgia, would they try to go for dentist Atlanta, Georgia, or dentist Atlanta, Georgia? And there's, you know, a few things with that. So back in the day, oftentimes a lot of people wouldn't use the plural, yet there was, you know, still a decent amount of searches done. So you could target plural type terms and get some easier rankings. But with that, lately in the past while, Google has been a bit more smart, and they know that if you're searching for dentist Atlanta, Georgia, or dentist Atlanta, Georgia, you're pretty much, in most cases, looking for almost the exact same thing. So they've gotten pretty smart with that, but what you can still essentially do is you can use the keyword tool and see first, you know, which one is more competitive. So which one has more like title tag matches and stuff like that. And I usually, you know, I say rule of thumb, try to go for ones that aren't terribly competitive. So if there's one where there's like, you know, 7 out of 10 sites are competing over the exact same term, you might want to look into possibly like a plural version, which might only have like, you know, 0 or 1 there. But having said that too, you want to also look for basically other kinds of search terms that might be less competitive, but you won't have to worry about plural versus non. For instance, if let's say dentist got more searches than dentist, but both were somewhat competitive, you could then search for like, you know, cosmetic dentist Atlanta, Georgia, or teeth whitening dentist Atlanta, Georgia, or, you know, some term like that. But the good and bad news now is that essentially Google has gotten a bit more smart, you know, with that right there. So, you know, my rule of thumb is don't worry too much about that, but try to look for, you know, search terms or keywords that aren't used as much, and try not to, you know, look at plural versus not as much now, because again, this has changed like within the past year or two, where it's been, you know, they've gotten a bit more smart in knowing what you're trying to actually search for. All right, question 2 here, and Sean, if there's anything you want to chime in on, feel free to basically interrupt me at any point.
I would never interrupt. See?
All right, question 2, and there's a couple guys that asked this, and it was, how can I sell a bunch of DVDs? Now, there was, I think, 1 or 2 that didn't say what the niches of those were, so I'm assuming that they meant like trainings and stuff rather than like, you know, like a TV show or like a movie. But and I think there's one that was in like the author niche and whatnot. But the best way to sell them first, I mean, there's a bunch of things that you could do. You know, one, you could have, you know, one way is if you want to rank for terms or trainings or stuff like that, depending upon the rights, if you had like a bunch of video trainings, you could put some of it online, either on YouTube or on a blog, to try to rank for various keywords that people might be asking like questions and stuff on, and questions are huge. So like if you have like an info product, you can brainstorm like 10 to 20 questions that people might have that might be relevant to what your guide's about. And if you have just a handful of those as either videos or blog posts or anything like that, over time you can actually drive a decent amount of traffic and actually rank for a decent amount of stuff, because questions oftentimes aren't really optimized too much, or I should say they're not too competitive, but they can get a lot of high quality traffic. So if you give like a preview of your trainings and then basically talk about, hey, if you want an entire course, here's my offer right here. So that's one way. The other way that you could is that if you want to be a bit more proactive, you could use some of the lead tools and try to find people asking questions or basically talking about the niche that your DVD product or your info product's on. For instance, if you had a product on, let's say it was a DVD course on how to improve your golf game. Okay, you could find guys asking questions on that, and then post like a quick answer saying, hey, here's a couple tips that I learned from this course right here, but there's a bunch of other good and useful info in it as well. Feel free to check it out here. But you want to actually provide some kind of good and useful content first and foremost. And without knowing like the exact niche or anything like that, it'd be pretty hard to like give exact ideas. But hopefully that right there will help you right there. So again, you can post some good and useful content, especially questions that prospects might have either on a blog post or on YouTube, to start to drive traffic there. That's kind of like a preview of what they can learn. Or you can go out straight to where the leads are, give some useful content and stuff to those leads, and drive some sales that way as well. Especially if it's like a higher price point. Like if you're selling this for like $19, it might not be worth your time to go out to some leads there, especially if it's a smaller site. But if it's more high end, it can definitely be worth your time right there. All right. So this next one right here is, how can I get started with CPA, which is cost per action, cost per acquisition. It's basically where you get paid for like a lead or for a certain action, regardless if they buy or not. And they say, do I need a full-blown website or a landing page? And what I'll do is, Sean's done a lot of CPA in the past. In fact, you actually once owned a CPA network years and years back. So I'll let you actually answer this one, Sean, if you want to.
Sure. So first of all, CPA stands for cost per action. Okay, so that means that the vendor, whoever's selling stuff or generating leads, is going to pay every time you generate a lead or a sale, and conversely, that you're going to get paid every time you generate a lead or a sale. And CPA networks have a zillion different offers. I mean, everything from a free sample of laundry detergent or a free iPad survey giveaway to a business opportunity offer to just about anything you can imagine. Insurance lead offers or real estate or mortgage or other loan lead offers, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing you have to do is get approved by a CPA network. So you would find, if you go to, oh, good Lord, hang on one second, because there's a really great resource to search CPA offers, which if I was smart, I can remember the name of this, and it would really be helpful. Hang on, I'm searching my saved stuff to find the name of it, but I'm not sure if it has CPA in the name. I'll think of it before I'm done here and tell you what it is. I'll come back in later and tell you what it is. Boy, I can't think of it at all. Okay, so anyway, okay, Offer Vault, that's it. OFFERVAULT, yeah, offervault.com. Anyway, so that's a free place you can go. You might have to make an account, but it's free. And that aggregates lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of CPA offers. So let's say you're like, I want to generate leads in the mortgage niche. Great. You go in there, type in mortgage, it'll tell you all the different network offers that are out there. So then you can connect with the CPA network and say, hey, listen, I generate traffic online. I want to generate a mortgage lead. You'll have to apply. You'll have to sometimes bug them to get approved because if they don't know who you are, they're not sure if you're legit or you're just some guy that's trying to rip them off, because there are a lot of fraudulent affiliate attempts inside of the CPA network world. You can't even imagine. But to get approved, you just need to prove like you're a legit person. Like they might want to get on Skype with you sometimes if they can't find out much about you because you're newer. They're going to want to see what you have for a website. Doesn't have to be super sophisticated. If you've already got like stuff you've sold for other networks like ClickBank or JVZoo, so you can just be like, look, I've done stuff. I'm a legit person. You can feel comfortable that I'm going to generate, good traffic, and they're going to, everything's going to be good. Then, you're going to be fine, and you can get approved. Once you're approved, you can generate traffic however an offer lets you generate an offer. So the offer might say it's only for email traffic, or it's only for search traffic, like where you're generating referrals off of your website or however it might be. But you follow the rules, you can generate that traffic. And the way that you would want to do that is just like any other affiliate offer, like Brian was talking about, where you'd create, your information that would pre-sell the offer. So you've got a blog post that answers questions related to the offer. What's the best way to find a mortgage if I'm a new homeowner? What's the best way to find a low-cost mortgage if I want a jumbo mortgage? What's the best way to refinance and not have to come, have any out-of-pocket costs, right? Whatever those things might be, and then you can go, follow the normal things you would do to generate leads and rank that site and refer them to the CPA network. And that's the short answer to that. I lost Brian. Brian? Wake up, Brian.
Sorry,
or unmute yourself, Brian. There you go.
So with that, Sean, would you recommend a full-blown site or a landing page? I know both can.
Yes.
In either case.
Yes, but the landing page in this case is not you couldn't go to the network and say, look, I have an opt-in form. I mean, they're going to want to, because they're not going to understand how you're going to generate traffic to an opt-in form that's then going to go to a lead offer or to a sales offer. And so a lot of cases they'll want to at least see that you've got like a couple articles on a website, something that looks reasonably legitimate.
All right, good answer there. All right, so next quick question here. There's a few guys that had questions along these lines right here. Is how would I use WebFire if I have an e-commerce site? So basically, if they're selling anything from T-shirts to coffee mugs to watches to there's a whole bunch of different guys that had some e-commerce type questions there. And with that, there's actually several things that you can do right there. So one, you can make sure that each web page you have, you basically try to optimize for the products that you have. This is a big one that I see not a lot of guys do much. So like if you're selling, let's say, Pug coffee mugs, which those little dogs with like the smushed faces that you either think are incredibly ugly or very cute. I think they're kind of on the ugly side, but like let's say you're selling like Pug mugs, okay? What a lot of guys do, they throw up separate pages and such, but they don't actually optimize the individual product page. Which is a very big mistake that you make. So if you have a Pug coffee mug, somewhere in the title, of that product page, actually say, Pug coffee mug or some term like that, and you can use a site an analysis tool to check each web page you have there. Another huge thing, and this is another mistake I see a lot, is if you have a picture of a product, and most time if you're selling a product, in most cases you should probably have a picture of it. A lot of people have like a picture named like 11152.149.jpg, which tells Google essentially nothing. Where again, if it's a Pug coffee mug, maybe have an actual image to take called Pug coffee mug or something like that. And we have a tool inside the site analysis that will actually check to see what your image tags are, and we also have essentially an image alt tag fixer, which can fix all that for you right there. So you can rename them to have them be relevant to what you're trying to rank for. And what's cool with that is Google oftentimes will rank an actual picture, oftentimes very, very high in the rankings. So you can have like a picture of your pug coffee mug show up at the top of Google, and there are guys that will be like, oh, that's the perfect mug, that's the mug I want right there. They'll click on that, they'll go to your product page right there, and they can buy. So that easy fix right there can get a lot more sales as well. Of course, another thing that you can do as well, depending upon the price points and the margins of profits and stuff, you can use the lead tools to actually find guys out there that might be basically interested in what you're basically selling. So if you have a superior product or if you have a better price, that's a good way to find leads. Now, if you're trying to sell the exact same thing, like the exact same brand, the exact same shirt or mug or whatever, and it's exactly the same, and if you're twice the price of everyone else, you won't do all that well. Because again, this is kind of in the day and age where someone can go to Amazon, look it up real quick and see if there's a cheaper option, or they could search on Google. So either in that case, make your product more unique or different a bit, or make sure that your price isn't too far off from the rest right there. But if you find leads and you do fit that criteria, that can be a great way to reach out to those leads as well and say, hey, I see you're asking questions on if there's any gifts for pug lovers, or if there's any good sites that sell dog gifts. Here's a site I have right here that has tons of stuff on it. Feel free to check it out. That can be a great way where it's nice, and you can get guys going and checking out your site. And it's not just the one lead that you basically do this for, because if you do a post like this on a forum, for instance, or a Q&A site, you can get a lot of other people happening across the exact same question, the exact same post, and checking your site out as well. Now on that site, if you have something really cool, like let's say you have a really awesome product that is one that might be more likely to go viral, like for instance, like a pug mug might work, because if you're like a dog lover, you might share. We have a social poster tool inside where you can basically post a lot of stuff automatically on Facebook and Twitter, and if you post like pictures of your mugs with some like, saying, hey, isn't this the cutest face, or, yada yada, you can get, all those dog lovers or those pug lovers to start to post about your, product as well. And when they start to post, like, and share, that can drive additional traffic your way as well. So that's a pretty good way to start with right there. All right. So here's a question right here. We've seen a couple of guys ask. They're saying, can schemas be used on sites that we don't control? So most of you know what this is now, because I know we've basically talked about this a few times, but a schema basically is additional info that you give to Google where like when they rank your site, they can list like, if you're a local site, they can list like essentially the hours that you're open, the phone number, and a lot of info like that. If you're just an affiliate site, a schema would allow you to post like stars, like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. It will show the actual like rating itself. You can also post the inventory and a bunch of stuff like that. Now, ultimately, you should really have control of the site to change the schema, because you'll have to either have basically access to the HTML, or if it's like a WordPress site, that's fine. If it's an HTML site, that's fine. Even a Shopify site is fine. We actually have a feature in the schema maker that allows you to change around that, because they have a special option for that right there. But if it's a site that you don't have access to, that you can't change anything like that around, in that case, you either couldn't change it, or the site itself might have a default system that they basically use. But it's not like you could go on, let's say Amazon, and change around a schema, on their site, because they obviously can control their site there. All right, here's a question right here. How might WebFire be used if they want a team of people doing guest blog and forum posting? So I really think this is like a two-part question. So first, you can use the guest blogger tool, and you can find tons and tons and tons of leads of places that you can do guest blog posts on. And you can also use the real-time lead finder or the rank lead finder and find tons and tons of like forums and such that you can post on as well right there. So that can save you guys a ton of time, so you don't have to go through as many right there. But there's really two ways that you can. So I think your question more so is, if you have a team of guys, how might you best use those tools rather than how to basically do this in general. And in case that was your question right there, there's two ways that you can kind of like outsource that work. One, you can go through the tools yourself and basically check off the leads that are of most interest to you, and then you can export those leads to your outsourced crew if you have guys that you want to do the posts and all that. Or you can just train the actual crew to go in, use the tools, find the best of the best leads, weed through it, and do posts off of that right there. So that's completely up to you. Now, of course, you can of course have like an outsourced worker use your account for that, but because we obviously like red flag if we see like tons and tons and tons of different people using the same account, that would be a red flag. But it's perfectly okay if you have like an outsourced worker or two right there. But yeah, definitely all those useful tools and stuff can really help there, and it can really reduce the amount of time that a lot of that will take. And it's up to you if you want to use the tools first and then export those leads or save those leads for those guys to check later. Or if you just want to train them to go through all that for you as well. So both those options would be fine. All right, there's a couple guys here on the next one that asked, can you advertise affiliate products with WebFire? And the quick answer is yes. The longer answer is there's a lot of ways. In fact, several ways. One, if you wanted to make a site, you could obviously help rank that site and have your affiliate links on it and use like the site analysis tools, the keyword tools, and all that to find good, easier keywords to try to rank for and such right there. If you didn't want to make a site, you could make videos quickly and easily with the Video Firestorm tool and get those up on YouTube and such, and start to drive affiliate sales that way as well. And of course, you could use the lead tools to find guys asking and talking about like questions and stuff related to the affiliate product that you're trying to basically sell, and you can answer them and drive those guys to your links as well. For instance, if you were an affiliate of massage chairs or gun safes or anything like that, you could find guys in the lead tools asking questions or basically talking about that, and spend a minute or so to basically answer a question or to talk a bit about that, and then drive them from there to your affiliate link. Now, you want to give them like a reason to go to your affiliate link. Don't just say, hey, click here and buy. So like, if they're asking a question on a gun safe, might say, hey, if you're looking for a larger gun safe, here's a couple of good examples of ones, right here, bing, bang, boom. That's a useful, helpful post. And, if you didn't want to post up your raw affiliate link, like if it's really, really long or looks like an affiliate link, you could use like a URL shortener or like a redirect to get a much nicer looking link as well right there. All right, here's a question right here. Can you plan blog, Facebook, and Twitter posts with WebFire? And the answer to that is yes. In fact, on the Facebook and Twitter side, you would use Social Poster that can actually automate, a lot of the posting and all that for you on Facebook as well as Twitter. So whether for you or your clients, you could do that. And on the blogging side, we also have a tool in there where you can automate posting to your blog and such like that under the content side as well. So both of those you can do. All right, here's a couple questions that were like this, and it's, if I find a good lead basically talking about something that I could sell, what's the best way to approach that lead? So basically, how do they respond on a forum or such to a relevant lead? So with that, I'd say, I mean, the best way is to use common sense. Don't be too salesy unless they're bluntly saying, you know, like, what's a place that sells this? In that case, sure, you can say, hey, here's one or two good sites right here. That's fine. But you know, let's say there's a lead basically asking questions about, you know, let's say a massage chair, like a gun safe again, or anything like that. You know, what you could say right there is, you know, if they say, you know, hey, you know, what's a good gun safe if I have, you know, 3 shotguns and 4 handguns. There's a lot of guns for one person, but let's say, you know, usually if you have a gun safe, you have lots of guns. You know, if they have a question like that, you could say, okay, so it looks like, you know, you're looking for a safe that can easily hold, you know, at least a few shotguns and rifles and, you know, some handguns. So you'd probably want one that's, you know, about this size right here. Here's a site right here that has several safes that would probably fit your criteria. That'd be a good example right there. Or if a person's asking a question on a massage chair, like, you know, hey, what's a good massage chair model out there? Or are the high-end models really, really worth it? You could say something like, you know, hey, massage chairs can range from like, you know, $1,000 to 15 grand. And then you'd say, you know, if you're on a budget, you know, I would recommend a chair like this for like $1,000 or like $1,500. But if you really want to go all out without having to waste a fortune, here's one in the 5K range, which is really, really, really good, just as good as, you know, a lot of the 15K ones right there. A post like that is super helpful. At the same time, you can bluntly say then, you know, hey, if you want to check it out, here's a link to each one right here. Whether it's your link or an affiliate link or whatever right there. You could also say too, you know, another trick that works well too is, you know, you can give some useful info and then also say, hey, you know, I know a lot about this. Feel free to email me here if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to help. Or feel free to tell me a bit more about what you're looking for, and I'll be happy to give you a recommendation or two based upon that. So you can get leads over time to actually email you that way as well, which is another great thing. You can also do, we actually talked about this a little bit last week. If you have a free service of some kind, so let's say you're you're an affiliate of diamonds or you sell diamonds. A free service that you could do is, you know, a free diamond search or a free analysis of a diamond that they might like or that they're looking at right now. So you would say in that case, you know, hey, I see you're interested in diamonds. I'd be happy to do a free search for you across the web. If you give me an idea of what you're looking for, I can give you several links to some sites that would have a close match. You know, anything like that, and you know, you'll say it's for free, and guys absolutely love that, and it can drive, again, lots of leads to you over time as well. It doesn't look like you're trying to be spammy or salesy or anything like that as well. But the key in all the cases is to provide value first and foremost. All right, so here's a great question right here. Should I have one big site with several niches or products on that site, or multiple sites on you know, smaller single markets or niches? So with that, in the majority of cases, you want to have like one site per main niche. Now, you know, let's say you're in the, I don't know, let's say you sell knitting stuff, you know, and you have a site on that. Now, I'm not saying have one site on knitting needles, one site on patterns. No, I'm saying just have a site on knitting stuff in general and have all the stuff right there. Now, you could make it a stretch and say, like, you know, arts and crafts, and have like knitting in one area and have you know, what arts and craft guys do in like another area. But yeah, that's fine. But the mistake I oftentimes see is there's a lot of guys that will have like a knitting site next to, let's say, an internet marketing site next to you know, how to golf next, and they'll have like, you know, a bunch of different products and markets, you know, all on one site, which when Google reads your site, that they're like, wow, I don't know what the hell is going on with this site, because it seems to be a mix of everything, so I don't really know what to rank it for. Whereas if you're all about arts and crafts, or you're all about knitting, or something like that, they say, well, gee, it looks like this is an arts and crafts site, or gee, it looks like the site is entirely about knitting, so it'd probably be a good idea to rank it for knitting type stuff. Now, the only exception with that is, like, you know, there's sometimes exceptions, like if you have, like, let's say a deal site, like let's say you want to be like a Groupon type site, or some site like that where you have like discount deals on like stuff that appeals to like everyone. You can get away with that at times, but in the majority of cases, I'd say try to have multiple sites on different markets instead of one big site on every market. And on that note, there was a comparable question that was, can I target a bunch of products to a bunch of people at once, or do I have to do it individually? So in the majority of cases, so the question here is like, hey, if I sell golf and internet marketing and tennis and knitting and massage chairs, can I make all those offers to the same guy at once, or do I have to do it individually? So in the majority of cases, a guy that's interested in knitting won't be a guy who's interested in tennis, and won't be a guy who's interested in massage chairs. Now, there can be exceptions there. You might find a guy that's really into massage chairs and tennis and knits. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Probably not. And the more targeted you can get, the more likely you are to make a sale off that. Now, that's not to say that you know, if you sell, like, let's say a bunch of tennis gear to like a tennis list, or you know, like a tennis info product, that's not to say that you couldn't recommend a massage chair, because there's, you know, a relevance there. But you know, you want to try to target individually. Now, the only exception, again, is if you have like a Groupon type site, or like a deal of the day, you can get away with that a bit. But in the majority of cases, you know, you want to target individual products to individual people. But having said that, like, let's say, you know, let's take the tennis one for, you know, example. Like, let's say you sell a bunch of info products on tennis. Now, if you mean, what if you have like 5 or 10 products on tennis? Yes, in that case, you can target them to those guys, but I would encourage you to basically do one product at a time. So if you mail your list, or you have a page on it, try to have it be only on that one product right there. Now, later, you can sell them on the related product, or sell it as an upsell. But if you send them to one page that says, hey, here's 10 things I sell, buy one. What happens then is guys go to that page, and in most cases, they're like, well, gee, I'm not sure which one I really want, or they won't even click through, because they might say, well, gee, I want basically tennis shoes, and this link does not even mention that. So again, try to basically target, you know, as targeted as possible in that case right there. I know it's a bit more work compared to just sending like everyone to one page that sells everything, but you'll get much better results off that. Because if it's the same thing, like if someone's interested in losing, let's say, arm fat, okay, like let's say they have flabby arms, okay, you could send them to, in this case, like a page that sells like a bunch of weight loss crap, and you probably won't make a sale off that because even though it could be relevant, it's not as appealing. But if you send them specifically to let's say a product on how to lose arm flab, you can get a more premium price and be much more likely to make a sale. Even if the general weight loss product would help with the arm flab, if you specifically send them to a page on how to lose arm flab, they're far more likely to not only go to that page, but to buy at the same time, and also pay more at the same time if it's like an info product. So again, it's kind of like people with specific needs look for specific solutions, and the more exact and the more sure that they are that you can solve their problem, the more likely they are willing to also pay more too. All right, so this is a good question right here. Will a one-page site even be able to rank, or should I do multiple-page sites? So, is it possible to rank a one-page site? Yes, because I've done it myself lots of times. Now, having said that, is it a good idea? No, because it's much more hard, and Google is far more likely to rank a multi-page site. Doesn't mean you can't get away with a one-page site, but usually, if you're trying to have a blog or a content site, I would recommend at least like a 5-page site, if not a lot more, because that not only makes you look like more of a site or more of an authority, it also gives you far more keywords and far more page titles and stuff like that you can rank for additional terms and stuff for. So it increases the amount of pages that you can rank for, and therefore the amount of keywords and such too. Here's a question right here. How long do schemas take to show up once you add them on a site? That can range, so assuming that you add it right, which we have a tool that can check and make sure that it's added right, because you can actually test that. So if it's actually done right, it can take anywhere from a day or two to a few weeks. And there's real no set, like it takes exactly this long. So Google and such will, check your site and make the adjustments, somewhere in that time frame in the majority of cases. But having said that, this is kind of exciting. We're actually working on a feature that we'll have out hopefully soon. There'll be a free update that will add a lot more back-end stuff with essentially Google. So we'll be able to read more on your site. We'll be able to see what kind of keywords you rank for, even if you don't have it tracked in the rank tracker. And more importantly, when you update like a schema or like an image, it will immediately talk to Google and tell them to change your site. It works essentially on the back end with kind of a cool setup with them. So that should even increase the speed even faster there as well, and we'll have that out soon as well. So I just thought I'd mention that as a side note because I'm pretty excited for that, but we'll talk more about that later because there's a lot of cool features and stuff that we have in the works which will be released as free updates in the near future.
All right, Brian, while you're on schema.
Yep.
Okay, so somebody asked earlier. Hang on, let's see who asked. So we can name the name that asked. So Wayne said he's checked using WebFire for a site, and it said, hey, this site doesn't have schema. But then he goes to Google and he types in the exact domain, and it comes up and it shows some results that make it look like it has schema.
So you're basically saying he has the question that's on the screen right now?
The one that says, can schema, whoops, hang on, type thing show up? Yes, that question. Okay, I didn't know you got that question. It wasn't in the PowerPoint that I got. And he typed it in the chat right at the top of the hour. So answer Wayne's question.
Yeah, yeah. I actually just there were two guys that sent in questions like right prior to the call being live. So I basically added those in real quick, and this is one of those right here. So it's funny that a guy in the chat box was asking that. So basically the question is, if a site does not have a schema, can a schema type result show up? And the answer to that is in some cases, yes. So what Google will try to basically do, especially for like a local business, not as much with like, if there's a site that's not one, it won't try to mess with it as much. But if there's like a local business, they'll try to list as much info as they can find in some cases. So if you have like a business listing with them or anything like that, they'll sometimes try to pull some info off of that and list it on their search engine. But when they do that, it won't necessarily always be accurate, and it won't have nearly the amount of detail as if you did. So like it won't necessarily have your hours. It won't necessarily have your number. It won't necessarily, if you're a restaurant, have like a link to like a menu. It won't have reviews unless you have reviews on like a Google listing ahead of time. So they'll sometimes try to pull info from different places. But if you do a formal one, like if you do an actual schema, you're far more likely to get not only more accurate info, but more stuff that you can have show up at the same time. So it's always good to have one in either case right there. So this is one I got that is a bit of a random one, but I wanted to make a point of it. So this person said here, how do I sell a license plate that I have that has a name on it? So they have, I guess, a certain kind of license plate, like an actual license plate, not like a fake one, at least was my understanding of it, and it has a name on it. Like I think the name was like Schema. It was some kind of Indian name, and it was like I think the E's were basically like 3s, so it wasn't like a perfect name, but it was a fairly good license plate for someone that had that name, and they wanted to know how they could use WebFire to sell a license plate or find leads of people that they could sell that to. So I want to make a few points with this. So first, realistically, if someone's name is Schema, they probably won't go online and say, hey, does anyone have a license plate that says Schema? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it likely? Probably not as likely. So again, possible, probably not as likely. Now, do you want to take the time to try to rank for those terms? There's certainly stuff that it wouldn't be hard to like rank for a lot of those terms. But what I basically would say is, how much are you looking to sell that for? I mean, if you're looking to sell this license plate for like $50 or $100, I mean, realistically, it's probably not worth your time to waste all that time and effort on one thing that you'll sell one time and one time only, when you could take that same amount of time, the same amount of effort, and focus on stuff that you could sell over and over and over and over again, or that work that you do one time could last for a super, super long time and sell many, many, many units instead of just one. And I know there's like a lot of guys that fit kind of the same case right there, so I'm not trying to pick on this or anything like that, but trying to use this as an example is, first you want to say, is it really worth your time to go through all that trouble for a sale that will only happen once? Now, maybe this license plate is worth a fortune. Like maybe it's like thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Then sure. But if it's like what I think, and I'm assuming it's probably like a 50 or $100 thing, I could be wrong, then it's probably not worth your time on that right there. All right, another DVD type question right here, but this one was a little bit different because I want to basically address it in a different way. So the question is right here: how could I sell a DVD course on book writing and publishing and referral marketing for small business owners? So first and foremost, I'd be careful grouping all those two together. So book writing and publishing makes sense, but referral marketing, that's kind of different from writing and publishing. Now I'm not sure if you meant like you have 3 different courses or if they're all on one. But one thing that you could do in this case is, you could again do the exact same thing that I said for the rest of my answer on the DVD course, at the start, we had a question on that, is you could make like videos through, the video tools, or you could do blog posts where you basically have a bunch of questions that like possible writers or people looking to publish a book or, are thinking about it might have, and you create a blog post or a video on each of those questions, get ranked well, use those keywords in the title, and have a good chance of ranking for those words right there, and then afterwards try to drive them to your actual course right there. You could also, again, use the lead tools to try to find guys asking questions on writing or publishing books and stuff like that. And the cool part there is if there's a guy that's looking for help in marketing his book or in writing his book or in publishing his book, there's a lot of stuff, or there's a lot of help that you could give them, and a lot of content and stuff that you can drive guys to, and help them with as well. So all that is all fine right there. But on that same note, I would also encourage you to not just look about how you could sell a course on it, but you should take some time to think, hey, maybe you can sell a course on this for like $100 or $200 or so, but I bet you'd be able to sell even more if you found a service that you could sell that does that for them. In fact, I actually know multiple guys that sell essentially a package in the tens of thousands of dollars where they'll help write a book or they'll help publish a book, and all that right there. And there's guys that fit that again, that's tens of thousands of dollars off one sale, where you can get that with the same amount of work. It's basically answering the exact same questions, doing the exact same amount of work, but in this case, you're going for the guy worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars instead of $100. So not to say you couldn't do both, but I just thought, it'd be worthwhile for you to think about that. Because, and with that too, there's also a lot of guys that might be more actively looking for someone to write a book, or more actively looking for someone to help publish a book or anything like that. So even if you don't want to do that stuff yourself, it's fairly easy to outsource that kind of work as well right there. All right, here's a good question right here. If you had to pick between affiliate marketing and selling web marketing services, which would you start with? Well, I don't think it's necessarily an either or. I think it's whatever you're most comfortable doing. Now, personally, I think there's more money if you're brand new in trying to sell like a web marketing service, because there's lots of things that you can sell for hundreds to even thousands of dollars, especially using WebFire to do a lot of that work for you. So I feel like that's super easy to start with. But I know there's like a lot of guys that would rather never have to actually email anyone, never have to do anything, and just write like a blog post and try to monetize it through affiliate marketing, like writing reviews and stuff like that. So if you're more like that, it's not that hard to write like an affiliate review and start that way. And you definitely can get some that make a lot of money. I've had some that have made a fortune just off of simple reviews that I've written, way back. But at the same time, I think if we split you all into two groups and had half you start with affiliate marketing and half you start with selling like web services and stuff like that, I think the guys selling the web services typically as a whole would make more and probably get faster and larger results with that. But at the same time, there would still be plenty of guys on the affiliate side that could make money and do well on that. So it's more so like a personal preference, but personally I think web marketing will get you faster results, especially if you target high-end services. And oftentimes the difference between a high-end one and a low-end one really isn't much. Like if if you sell, let's say, SEO to a place where one sale is worth thousands of dollars, they're oftentimes willing to pay a decent price. Whereas if you sell, let's say, SEO to a place that sells a $5, then it's not worth it as much to them. So you can find guys that you can help and basically provide a tremendous value to at the same time and get good results with that. So that's my personal take on that right there. Is, I think try to find like a high-end web marketing service that you could sell, and then find high-end clients that you know you could help the most, and then market to them. But again, plenty of things that you can do on the affiliate side. If you do go the affiliate route, I would target either stuff that pays like high-end commissions of like hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least reoccurring ones, because it's oftentimes just as much work to get the reoccurring sale as the one-time sale too. So either is fine there. So with that, those were, I believe, all the questions that we had actually emailed. Again, there were some that I summed up into one right there, instead of like basically asking versions of almost the exact same thing over and over and over again. But if we miss any by accident, or if you have more that pop up later, you can feel free to contact our support at support@webfire.com, or inside the members area. Just click on the support tab and you'll go to the help desk, where you'll never have like an issue with spam or anything like that, because you can log in and see the response right there, and we'll always get back to you in 1 business day or less. You can also ask questions like that on the Facebook group page as well. Just try not to ask it in like all 3, because then it just takes more time and all that right there. And with that, again, just as a reminder, our Facebook group page is at webfire.com/FB group. And if you leave a comment there under Sharon's post where she's asking what you thought of the training, you'll have a chance to win $100 today in just a little bit right here. So go to getwebfire.com/FB group. It will take you to the Facebook group page, which is free. And if you leave a comment basically on the post that Sharon had asking what you thought, we'll give it $100 away today to a random winner on that. So with that, Sean, we'll give guys maybe like 5 or so minutes to leave a comment. If there's any like questions that you saw that popped up while we basically answered that, feel free to shout out those, Sean, and we'll try to answer those as we give guys another 5 or so minutes.
All right. So Chuck says, sorry I couldn't get this to you before, Brian. Then he asked like 7 questions just to make it easy. All right. So his question is, he's building up affiliate programs to promote. So what's the best way? So Chuck, answer my questions. Get ready, because I got a couple things. You're referencing your houseware site. If I remember right, you have an e-commerce site that sells housewares. And then you're talking about having other affiliate stuff you could refer them to that you don't have, that you're not selling on your houseware site, right? Okay, perfect. All right, because I want to answer the question properly and not just confuse the heck out of you. And for those of you that need the Facebook group link, it just popped up in the chat box underneath this question box that we've been typing in, which I always think of as the chat box, but it's not technically the chat box. So Chuck's got a houseware site, e-commerce site. He sells various housewares products, and he also wants to smartly sell and promote affiliate products, because he knows that there's other stuff that he can make a lot of money from that's not stuff that he sells, right? So this makes sense. So he can do that by referring people off his site, like if they're not, like if you notice on Amazon how there are links on Amazon underneath a main featured product, they're like, hey, people who bought this or who are interested in this also bought this other thing that you could refer people to. And of course, if somebody's not interested in your, kitchen dishwash, your dish drainer pan, and it's the only one you have, you might refer them to another one on Amazon or somewhere else, right? But also, as you're writing a blog post to generate traffic, if you don't have a lot of housewares that fit the specific thing for what you're doing, or there's other things like people who buy high-end housewares also buy cookbooks, probably because they want to cook cool stuff with their houseware stuff for their pots and pans or whatever, right? So, and you might not sell cookbooks directly, but you sell them and refer them to those on Amazon, or a cooking course on ClickBank or whatever, right? So, you could definitely do that off your blog posts as well. So all a good idea. And well, there. Mohammed wanted to know, Brian, what tools are patent pending in WebFire? Because when he wants to promote WebFire, he wants to be able to make specific reference to those?
Sure. Well, in fact, we actually just got an update on the patent not too long ago. For those of you that don't know, patents usually take a really long time, especially.
No, and more importantly, they cost a lot of money.
Yeah. So basically, rule of thumb: if a lawyer gives you a quote, times that by like 5, and you're probably only a bit underestimating it. Yeah. So we have there's a handful of features that are, but there's a few things like the ranked lead finder, one small part of the real-time lead finder, I think, too. Basically, some of the lead tools are and how it finds sites and how it basically determines if they have a place where you can leave like a post or a comment on them. So that's the main thing that we have right there. We also have some artificial intelligence stuff too that we have a patent on as well right there. So yeah, so that's that.
All right. So Jason asked a good question. What's an effective way to contact cold leads to sell services, taking into account canned spam? Well, so your presumption is that canned spam says that you can't send unsolicited email. I think that's really what you mean by that. And the truth is that you can send unsolicited email under the canned spam law of the U.S. Because there's nothing that says you can't. All it says is you have to clearly identify that this is a message is of a commercial nature. You have to honor an unsubscribe request and not send them any more email. You have to clearly identify your name or your business name, your business address, and so that's all that's required under canned spam. I know so many people are afraid to send an unsolicited email to a business saying, hey, listen, I really think I could help your business. What can you do? Personally, people tracking my email address down, and no, I'm not inviting all of you to do it. I get at least 10 emails a day from people that want to do business. They want to sell me advertising. They want to cross-promote services, whatever it is they want to do, that are contacting me, and from, in many cases, really large companies. Companies that do, tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars a year, their sales team are emailing me in an unsolicited fashion. Now, first of all, they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't legal because they already make tens of millions of dollars. They wouldn't be risking that by just sending Sean an email, right? Okay, but what you don't want to do is email a guy like let's say you find a dentist, you're like, I can really help this guy. I'm gonna let him know. And so you email him at 10, he doesn't respond. You email him at 11, you email him at 12, you email at 1, you email at 2. If you're an annoying jerk, then you're probably going to get a little bit of backlash, but it's not like the government is going to come after you just because you emailed one guy and you were a jerk even, okay? But, if you don't be a jerk, if you be helpful, you add value, you make a straight up offer, you're going to generate interest, okay? So it's not a problem to be able to do that and be able to see things that are going on, okay? Bill had a good question, Brian. This is a great question. Is Robot Author getting more intelligent? I love the way that question's phrased. Yeah, so
right. In fact, as a side note, 2 things to that. One, in the last major update a ways back, there was a feature done to basically make it learn, off of mistakes and based upon the topics that lots of people type in. So that's one thing right there. And the second thing, I actually just had a talk with the main coder on that not too long ago, and he was actually going to go through essentially the logs of basically the artificial intelligence to kind of see what was basically learned and see if there's ways to basically expedite some of that as well. So the short answer is yes, and the longer answer is yes, and there's some really cool stuff that we've been playing around with that too. And Sean, let me know when you want me to do the cache part, and we can.
Yeah, in just 1 second. So Jing asked a question. She said we might have missed it, but she wanted to know: does WebFire search for websites within .com.au?
Yeah. You can.
Okay, so that was easy.
Yeah. So in fact, in pretty much all of the tools, it like on the keyword tools, you can see what the results are from there. On the rank lead finder, it can check sites there. On the backlink tool, on pretty much everything, yeah, you can search and find those there. So short answer is yes. All right, so I will change my screen to.
Hey, and if you got, for those of you who just joined the Facebook group but you can't see how to comment, refresh the page, because you applied, and when you're on the page, even though we accepted your membership in the group, you got to refresh the page so that Facebook will know you now have permission to post, and then it'll let you post.
So yeah, and as a side note, so here's the main post from Sharon right here, basically asking how you enjoyed the call. We see there's lots of comments. This is where you should leave a comment right here, and it's kind of funny. I have to. Who was it? There. I can't locate the post from Sharon. So Gene is just right up here. Right here. So just that first post at the top, and every Wednesday we'll have it in the same spot right there. And towards the start of the call, Sharon will post this up here. Just trying to get feedback, see if there's anything you guys like or didn't like, or what you want to see next time, and all that as well. All right, so with that, I'll give you guys another 10 seconds or so to post up there. And I'll count, there's a few guys that did post down here as well. Try to do it in here next time. It makes it a little easier to count, but that's fine for right now. So I'll do a countdown, then we'll do the giveaway. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, half, quarter, and 0. All right, so I'll refresh the page. Looks like we have 64 right here, so I'll pull up all those. And 64 plus. All right, 1. 6, get some guys posted under there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We'll count this one too. 12. We'll even count Sharon. 13. We'll give her a chance. All right, so 13.
Well, I'm going to let you explain to people what happens when Sharon wins. I'm going to let you handle that.
Chances of that are very slim. Although last week we gave you a chance, Sean, and I think you're off by 5. So 13 plus the 64, just to see if it's the same. Yep. So that would be 77. All right. All right, so I'll just do a random number right here. Hopefully it'll be at the start, make my job easier. 50.
Yeah, it's hard going backwards through all those random things. You got to remember what the last one was.
Well, although
Sharon said if she's number 50, she counted. I don't know what that means.
So 50. So there is. All right. So mix it. Not too bad. So it'd be, if there's 64 here, that'd be 15 back, right? Yeah. So let's do 15 back from the bottom.
No, you had 77?
Yeah, but just.
Oh, okay, from the bottom of that box up there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that is with 64 there, that'd be 15 back to get number 50. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So if this is you, I'm probably saying your name wrong, but Lavuyoy or Lavuyoy Mangisa, if that's you, you are $100 richer. Just send a quick note in the chat to Sharon on what your PayPal email is, and we can get that over to you this afternoon. So just mention that in the chat, and you're $100 richer. So again, congratulations to Lavoyo. So yeah, the guy with the giant smile.
All right. Good.
All right.
Well, I think we got everybody's questions answered, so I think we're all good to go.
All right, guys. So and as a side note too, just to mention a quick note, I did see that the WebFire itself, I think earlier today was briefly slow for a short time. I saw there was a question or two on that down here, but it looks like that all got fixed up. But usually once a week or so, there's like a backup done and a few other things processed, so it can be a bit slower for a short time. But we're trying to address that even so that like one short time a week that wouldn't take place. So it looks like we got that all squared up, fixed up. And with that, guys, thanks again to all of you that joined us on this call. And congratulations to Lavoyo for winning $100. Just again, make sure to post up your PayPal info for Sharon in the chat here, or you can email the support as well, and we'll get that over to you right away. And again, every Wednesday, guys, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll do a new call. So hopefully you can join us next week as well, and we'll have yet another call for you guys. So and of course, again, we have some very cool stuff being worked on as well with some free updates. So we'll alert you guys to that, as well as a special giveaway that we have as well, which we'll tell you more about later. So with that, guys, take care. Have a great rest of the week, and take care. Have a nice day.